Big shout out to DYU who've sent me another bike to try. I think I was looking at the C1 and I think they've sent me the T1. So there might have been a bit of a miscommunication on the line there. But let's see what we've got. So I think what we've got here is one of the little compact commuting type road bikes. They're kind of foldable. But let me get this out of the packaging, we'll get a good look at it. So what we got in the box, we'll get a good set of spanners again, keys for the battery, the owner's manual, pedals, what looks to be an optional thumb throttle, and the battery charger. Yeah, nice and compact again, and a set of Allen keys. Okay, this one is coming together pretty quickly actually. It's much simpler than the previous three that I've built. Funnily enough, it's always the mudguards that are a wee bit more fiddly. But yeah, it's ready to go. And as these style of bikes go, I think it's actually quite a stylish wee thing. So I haven't actually tried it yet, but not only does it fold in the middle, the pedals fold as well. So it's kind of designed, I think, as one that'd be easy to get in the car or commute with. So it's a magnesium alloy frame, so it only weighs 22 kilos, but it will take a lot of weight in total, including the rack at the back. You can see it's got the kind of round spoked wheels. It's got solid spoked wheels here, which I think are steel. Pneumatic tyres, you've got the mud guards to keep the mud off you as normal. It's only a 7-speed, which is fine. It's very simplistic in comparison to a lot of the bikes I've had before. It has a suspension seat post on here, which is quite nice just to take a wee bit of pressure off. And it has a built-in headlamp and a battery operated tail light. And the brakes are, you've got double discs, but they're cable operated. Folding pedals, folds in the middle, so you can carry the whole thing, and it has the little prop stand as well at the side, so you can just prop it up and then just leave it where it is before you lock it off here. And then you also lock it here as well. This bar is not adjustable, so the stem height in the bar stays the same all the time, unfortunately. And you've also got the option to put a thumb throttle on it, which is illegal in the UK, but would allow you just to ride it without pedalling rather than using the 7-speed Shimano setup. It also seems to have leather grips on it actually, yeah, they're sewn in, and a tiny little built-in bell which is actually incorporated into the housing, which I quite like. The battery itself is a 36 volt 10 amp hour I think it is, and it slides in and out here. There's a little release on the key and you just pop it out, so you can take it out and charge it in the house, pop it back in the bike, but you can also charge it in situ with this little plug here. I think it gives you about 55 to 60 kilometres range, and it's also worth mentioning that the motor's 250 watts, so that's legal for the UK and probably all the power you need for something this light, to be fair. Solid forks, so there's no suspension on the front here, but then it's an urban runaround sort of thing. I imagine you would see running around town for a short commute maybe, or at a marina, caravan sites, that kind of thing. So in a sense, so how does the T1 feel to pedal? It's a bit of a strange one. It's actually easier to pedal in the higher gears. There is only one power level and you can only turn it on and off here, as you can see from the lights. And as you go over the bumps, luckily there's a bit of suspension which comes from the seat post, but there's no suspension other than that. So it's very much like a short distance commuting bike on roads. And you've only got Shimano 7-speed on the right hand side here. I've also temporarily fitted the thumb throttle just to try that as well. Oh, there you go, we're out on the thumb throttle. So as you can see, actually, although you shouldn't really be using a thumb throttle, and you can disconnect it and take it off, it's actually a lot of fun just to be able to buzz along like you're on a tiny little slow moped basically. And although it's only cable brakes, because again the frame and the bike is lighter, it's a wee bit easier to stop Yeah, so I like the bars are a wee bit narrow for my liking. I'd like them a wee bit wider, and they don't appear to be height adjustable. So you're kind of stuck with the bar height. You can only really adjust your saddle height, and maybe on the saddle rails push it back a bit to give you a bit more space. So I'm on a wee cycle track just outside Glasgow. This takes you all the way to Kilmarnock on the south. I guess I'm almost thinking this is like the Brompton bike updated. So it's a wee bit like having the little folding Brompton. Never had one myself, but always quite fancied it. It's a wee bit of a cult item. But yeah, so we're buzzing along here. 6th gear, and it just responds to the power that you put into the pedals. And then it just suddenly it starts to increase, but it's subtle, it's gentle. So I'm actually going up a wee bit of a hill here, and you can hear I'm probably very slightly out of breath. It's because you still have to work with this. There's not an awful lot of power in it. It's enough to get me up and down this hill, but we're rattling along, probably doing, well, we'll max out at 25 kilometres an hour with this thing. So 15.5 miles an hour is your max. Okay, so let's do a wee hill test on this. We are in 5th gear out of 7. This is quite a steep hill I'm coming up to now. Let's just see if the bike will kick in enough power to get me up it. Oh yeah, I can actually feel it kicking in quite nicely. It definitely responds to the pressure on the pedals. So as you can probably tell, I'm not out of breath yet. I'm working a wee bit. But yeah, no, it's climbing the hill, it's climbing it. That's quite good, because I think the max it will do is 15%. So well done. Right, well there you go, that's my first impressions of the DYU T1 urban runaround e-bike, for want of a better description. I have actually quite enjoyed this actually. It's not really for me at the end of the day because I'm an off-road kind of guy. So what would I say about it? If you're a commuter, basically, if you're looking for an urban runaround, you could do a lot worse than this, I'll tell you. £799, folds up into the boot, no problem. Nice and light for carrying about on a train or a bus. You can have the option of pedalling it. It's not legal in the UK, but you could fit the thumb throttle, and that'll make life a wee bit easier for you as well. But yeah, actually, I think it's quite a stylish looking little bike. It is like the Brompton updated. I keep going back to this, but it reminds me of a Brompton. It's got that kind of convenience, the fold-away convenience of a Brompton, but updated with a bit of e-power, and it's subtle e-power. So it's a very gentle kick-in. When I say kick-in, is the wrong word actually. It's a very gentle, just push in on the power when you need it. It just responds to your pedal stroke. But as an urban run around, yeah, I think it's really quite nice. DYU makes some really nice stuff actually. So the quality of it I think is excellent throughout. Just nicely made, nicely finished. Nice frame on it with the magnesium alloy and this kind of matte paint finish on it and the silver decals. So not too garish, it's quite a stylish wee thing. So thanks to DYU for sending this to me. I really enjoyed it, and I'll continue to run around on it locally. I'm sure my wife will love it as well. A brilliant little urban runaround. So check it out. Check out their other models as well. They do a lot of mountain bikes and other bits and pieces, and they're all at great prices because they're coming direct. So you don't have dealerships in the middle taking extra margin, and I think that's where the value really steps in these. But I've got absolutely no complaints about the build quality. Nothing's gone wrong on it. It's simple, it's reliable, it's very well built. It'll take 120 kilograms of weight, 80 for me, another 40 on the back. The rack is substantial. So yeah, what's not to like? Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you out there for the next one. Cheers just now.